Coming up next on Making Moves, after a banner year in 2014, what's new for JTA in 2015? We'll talk live with CEO Nat Ford to find out. How JTA turned things around for some customers in Brentwood. How you can score an advertising coup and put your company's name where no company has gone before. And you will not believe what some people leave behind on the bus. Terry Casey takes us inside JTA's Lost and Found. I'm Donna Deegan. Those stories and more right now on Making Moves. Hello, and thanks for joining us for another edition of Making Moves. I'm Donna Deegan. We begin with news from the Jacksonville Business Journal, who recently named the JTA the biggest turnaround of 2014. With so much going on last year, it's certainly hard to argue with that decision. The Business Journal noted the authority began working on the conversion to a compressed natural gas fleet, as well as getting the local option gas tax passed for another 20 years. That funding will be used to build more than a dozen road projects throughout the city. 2014 was also a year where the Skyway turned 25 and saw ridership top 1.1 million. But perhaps the biggest news last year was the total transformation of the JTA's bus system. And of course, none of that is news to this guy right here, and that is JTA Chief Executive Officer Nat Ford. We're so excited to have you back again already. We're starting to feel special.
Well, Donna, thank you for having me. It's been a fantastic year for the JTA.
Well, you know, it had to feel amazing to be recognized by the Business Journal. People are really taking note of what's happening here.
To have a publication, a business publication, recognize the JTA for the work that it's done, and then to go one step further and name us the transformation of 2014, it's really a testament to the fine work of all of the JTA employees and our board, and we're just so honored for that recognition. It's been a great year.
Well, it is good to see that happened. Well deserved also. And of course, route optimization has been really all we have been focused on. I shouldn't say all because you've had so much, but so much of our focus has been on route optimization. And, you know, for all of your efforts, you're still out there sort of making tweaks to the system.
Oh, definitely. When we embarked on this endeavor, we knew to change a system that was designed 30 years ago and pretty much ran the same way it did 30 years ago. To make this monumental change and transformation was going to be a challenge. I think we were very successful, but clearly there are room for improvement. We are doing tweaks right now. We're calling it phase 2 of the route optimization, where we're going back and looking at some of the areas where we need to make some adjustments. And so that is going to be an ongoing process, and we have a great system now, I believe, and it'll be even better with these improvements.
So how do you convince folks that are out there saying, you know, I have these concerns, that those concerns actually are going to be dealt with and that those tweaks will be made?
Well, we're hard at work, one, capturing all of these comments and suggestions and recommendations, and our external affairs group is compiling all of them. They're working with our planning department, and they will be implemented periodically through the year, making these improvements. But there are improvements that are underway right now. In some cases, some adjustments, we cannot wait, you know, over the next few months to make those changes. They needed to be made right now. Overcrowding issues, bus stop location issues, things of that nature. So there are improvements and modifications occurring right now, and it will be ongoing leading up to the opening of our First Coast Flyer service in December.
Fantastic, and we're going to talk more about that. But to further the point that you were just making, in the Brentwood area, JTA recently worked to make some changes to the community shuttle there. And here is Making Moves correspondent Correll Danzy with more on the riders' concerns and the solution that JTA found.
The Northside Community Shuttle provides service to residents that live on Lem Turner, near Gateway Mall, and within the Brentwood community.
And this building is mainly geared toward our seniors and our disabled residents. So the age range can go from young adult to a senior citizen, and I'm sure I've got somebody that's in their late 80s.
Brentwood residents use the Northside Community Shuttle regularly to visit the bank, doctor's office, and do some shopping. But when the new routes were launched in December, the bus stop just outside their doors was gone.
Well, I think it came as a surprise to the residents.
As property manager, Kim Green was bombarded with complaints.
Getting visits, phone calls, people showing up, meeting me on the sidewalk. I couldn't get out of my car. They were very vocal about the changes.
Green knew something had to be done.
On December 4th, we held our regularly scheduled Community Advisory Group meeting. We refer to them as CAGs. And that one had been scheduled for months. It was scheduled to be held at the Legend Center on Sutel in the evening. And so, of course, Route Optimization Initiative had just launched formally on Monday, December 1st. So we were expecting that we would have people from and customers from that area attend the meeting to give us feedback and input.
Cheryl Reddick, JTA's Community Engagement Manager.
And when we walked in, we had an unusually large crowd.
We loaded everybody up and dropped them off at the meeting, came back, got another load, dropped them off. So we were there in big numbers.
And so we did go one by one and allow folks to really share their concerns.
The Brentwood residents took over the meeting, voicing their frustrations.
I'm a senior, I can't walk that far, I'm in a wheelchair, this is an inconvenience, it wasn't fair, nobody asked us, nobody involved us.
I definitely felt it, and I wanted so badly to say, and I did a couple of times, truly, we want to hear what you're saying, and that's why I was emphasizing one at a time. We'll capture your questions, we'll capture your concerns, and we'll take it back.
But she didn't need to. Green made a suggestion.
And she said, of course, we'd love nothing better than to just have it the way that it was. But if you can't do that...
We have it come at set intervals, certain times of the day. Residents can change their schedules accordingly to their doctor's appointments and whatnot, and it could work out that way.
And at that point, Carl leaned over to me and said, that's a great suggestion.
From December 5th to December 18th, JTA's team of investigators and planners worked to implement Green's plan. And on December 22nd, it was official. 3 fixed route stops, inbound and outbound.
So we did get that route back. We got it at limited times, and it was a very good compromise. It was a very good compromise. So.
In Northwest Jacksonville, Carell Danzy, JTA Making Moves.
All right, back with CEO Nat Ford now, and it was great to see that you were able to make things work there in that Brentwood community for the shuttle, but I suspect that there will be cases where the changes customers want may not necessarily be things that you can actually say, okay, here you go.
Well, that's the challenge, and we have to balance competing interests at times, and we need a system that really serves the greater population of our community, and we will find solutions for every problem or every challenge, but hopefully in some cases we may not find something that'll be satisfactory, but the vast majority we will.
Well, as we said, route optimization took up a lot of the focus in 2014, but we're now into 2015 and a lot of things being planned. I know that that one of the really big things that's going on for you right now is that compressed natural gas facility. You break ground next month.
That's right.
Nothing like not taking a breath.
Well, the JTA, there's no dust settling on us, so to speak, and we've awarded a contract with Clean Energy. And over a 15-year period, they will design, operate, and maintain a new compressed natural gas facility for the JTA. It will help us save over $6 million during the course of this contract in terms of fuel costs.
Well, and I understand you've got the first shipment of the new buses coming later this year.
Yes. And
that's just in time for the new facility to open. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes, so the first set of buses, 20 buses need to be in place, and we've already ordered the buses. They'll be in place by November. That will time with the opening of the fueling station in the November-December time frame. And this is part of an order of 100 buses that will come into the JTA over the next 5 years, and 40 of these buses will go towards our First Coast Flyer bus rapid transit system.
And speaking of the bus rapid transit system, that's another really exciting component that's coming on board. I was I was saying to you earlier that I have a tough time saying bus rapid transit system. I always want to say rapid bus transit system, but either way, it's going to be an exciting thing. Why is this different from a regular bus route?
Yes, it's a major improvement to our system, major mode addition to our system. We're actually going to be running these buses in the First Coast Flyer system, running these buses much like a light rail system. And so there will be much greater spacing between the bus stops, high frequency service, a bus every 10 minutes during the peak periods, and during non-peak periods every 15 to 20 minutes. So this is a premium service that we will be implementing in December, and another part of our arsenal of solutions for transportation in Jacksonville.
A big arsenal it's becoming. And I know how busy you are, but before we let you get out of here today, I've got to ask you about the St. Johns River Ferry, because a lot of people obviously love that service. It's something that JTA has taken over, but where does it stand right now?
Well, again, adding another part of our portfolio of transportation solutions. We are in negotiations right now with the Ferry Commission and also in discussions with the Friends of the Ferry supporters, Friends of the Ferry, and the idea is a transformation and a transition of the ferry to the JTA's operation sometime this spring. We're doing our due diligence and negotiating the agreement, and the transfer will occur this year, and we are targeting this spring to make that transition. So we're very excited about all of the new transportation modes that'll be under the JTA's umbrella.
Well, as somebody who uses that ferry quite regularly, I'm happy to see that you all are taking it over, and can't wait to see what happens. So thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here and talking about the fine work that the JTA team is implementing. So I have an easy job in doing that.
Thank you so much, JTA Chief Executive Officer. Always a pleasure, and we'll get him back here very soon. Have a great day.
All right, thank you.
Up next, when it comes to public transit, new revenue is always a tough find. We'll tell you where JTA is hoping to reel in some new money in 2015. And we've all lost our keys or our phones at some point, but wait until you hear about some of the crazy stuff people have left behind on a JTA bus. A trip to the lost and found when we return.
I'm a second-generation transportation professional.
I've been in transportation for nearly 35 years.
I was the first civil engineer in my immediate family.
The civil rights movement doesn't happen without transportation.
It's a great thing to know that we've helped build this nation and get us to where we can all exceed.
Time now for a Black History moment.
Back in 1955, when Rosa Parks refused to give her seat up to a white man, little did she know that she was starting a movement.
That's 5 years later, here in Jacksonville in 1960, we hired 8 African Americans to drive the bus. So that was significant. And now, even with our own CEO, you got Nathaniel P. Ford Sr. as our CEO, you got Keith Parker, CEO of Martyr, and you have John Lewis Jr., CEO of Lennox.
From Garrett Morgan with the traffic signals, we got great people in history doing things with railroads. And the aviation industry, we had them in the military, in the Army Corps Engineers. There was several units of those guys that went out and built stuff during the wartime.
Knowing that there were so many inventions, particularly in transportation, with Rosa Parks in the bus, with I believe Bessie Coleman with the airplane, and there was someone else who did the coupler for the railroad tracks. And so it made me feel as if what you're experiencing as an African American is not anything new. It's actually very natural for you to understand these things. People before you understood it, perfected it, created it, and you're part of their legacy.
You're watching Making Moves, honored by the American Public Transportation Association with the prestigious 2014 AdWheel Award for Excellence in Television and Video.
Welcome back to Making Moves. When you're a public transportation agency, keeping costs down and finding new revenue streams is paramount. Over the past several years, JTA's advertising program has nearly tripled its revenue stream. Now, in 2015, JTA is looking to kick it up a notch by offering some new opportunities for companies to put their names where no names have ever gone before. Here's Making Moves Chief Correspondent Bill Milnes.
Jacksonville businesses have several options to advertise their company's services or promote their brand, but only one of them travels throughout the city, and that is on a JTA bus.
You're talking about roving billboards, basically, that instead of being static on I-95, actually move throughout the entire communities.
JTA's corporate sales manager, Mike Miller.
When you take a look at the price of transit advertising as compared to electronic television, radio, or whatever, it's a much less expensive form of advertising. And I think there are still a lot of clients out there that we talk to who say that they're really not into the digital advertising as much as the media is going into digital.
Miller says exterior bus ads, including the full bus wraps, have grown in popularity here over the past several years. Add to that the newer bus shelter ads now available,
which have also seen a tremendous increase over the past year, which we're very, very happy about.
As well as the audio ads that play inside the vehicles.
Lipton iced tea is infused with our unique blend of real tea and just enough sweetness for a taste that refreshes. Taste the flavors of the Sunshine State. Try Lipton iced tea in lemon or peach. Be more tea.
And it gives companies great flexibility when it comes to promoting their company and services on JTA. But for those companies who really want to make a statement, who really want to stand out from the crowd, well, Miller says JTA has some new and exciting options for you too, including putting your company name on a Skyway station.
For instance, we've got 8 great Skyway stations in our system in the downtown area, both on the South Bank and the North Bank. There are wonderful opportunities for marketing, particularly for those companies that are within the local geographic area of that station, where people can take a look at a sign that they might see in the Skyway and say, you know, you're only 10 feet away from this business, or don't forget to stop in and see us while you're here, or whatever. So there is advertising that can be done on the pillars that are in the Skyway stations, as well as those display ads which we can put up.
In downtown, Bill Milnes, JTA Making Moves.
To learn more about advertising with JTA, call 630-3109 or visit the website at JTAFLA.com. Well, if you've ever tried to open your car door and realized you lost your keys, or you went to make a call on your cell phone only to find out it was nowhere in sight, then you can probably relate to this next story. Making Moves senior correspondent Terry Casey joins me now, and of course, we've all lost some things, but I understand this is a slightly different kind of lost and found.
I have to chuckle because, Donna, different is the right word when it comes to this story. You know, every day dozens of people ride public transit in Jacksonville, and they get off the bus, shuttle, or trolley and walk away without some personal item that they took onto the bus. Well, it could be a purse, it could be a wallet, a cell phone, keys, even bicycle. Then again, it might just be something that you could never imagine being left behind.
You wouldn't just believe how much stuff to get left on the bus.
Lots of people ride JTA buses every day, and lots of them leave things behind. Ask any of the drivers, they'll tell you.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. If you can go to the lost and found place, you can believe the bicycles, the wallets, the cell phones, and she got enough to start her own store.
Sometimes Benita Fuller can't believe it either.
Wow, these are some of the things that come in our department twice a day. It's amazing.
She heads up JTA's Lost and Found department.
It's an overwhelming amount.
An endless flood stored in lockers and typical of what you might expect.
Purses, wallets, cell phones, those are our leading ones. Those things are always left.
Every now and then, something not so typical turns up.
How about things of prosthetics?
Talking about like legs and...
Legs, yes. You need those things to live with. So I've seen a number of things in this department.
Including some rather bizarre things.
The first thing I would say is you don't leave your children behind. And those things have happened. They actually have left their kids. Dentures, a lot of valuables.
Then there's this. It's a safe. And Benita allowed us to take a peek inside.
You're not gonna believe some of the things that are left in here.
Well, let's take a look, huh?
Okay. We have Jaguar tickets that was left, tablets, checkbooks, jewelry, diamonds.
Who leaves diamonds? Items in the safe are sealed for security, so we can't show you the diamonds, jewelry, and cash. All left behind, and most probably never to be claimed.
Entire purses.
There's a flip side to all this, like when the lost part of that equation, for example, a lost backpack, is found. A JTA customer left his backpack on a bus and touched off a frantic search by JTA teams to track it down and get it back. It started with a phone call to the Rosa Parks station and Transit Hub manager Sherman Rothwell. He picks up the story.
What made this so urgent was the items that was lost on the bus was prescription medication. And the customer stated that the bus that he got off of was headed to Rosa Parks. And that's when we contacted the control center.
Can you please see if you can locate bus 1419?
Had the bus to pull over, and we went out and got the items off the bus, and from there we delivered the items to the customer.
The circumstance may have been unusual. Rothwell says the response was not.
It's what we do, and we would do it for any customer that's called in frantic mode that's looking for a lost item.
Back at Lost and Found, Benita Fuller keeps chipping away at the constant flow of stuff left behind, searching for the owners, and on the really good days when she finds one, knowing that she made a difference.
It makes you feel like you've done your job well and to help another person.
In downtown, Terry Casey, JTA Making Moves.
Wow, that is insane.
I know, you're right.
So, you know, I mean, obviously we would hope that we wouldn't lose our most precious possessions on the bus, but if in fact somehow we happen to leave one of those things, what do we do?
Well, there is a phone number to call. And let's tell the folks what that is. If you think by any chance you may have lost something on board a transit vehicle, all you got to do is call Lost and Found, and they'll try to help you out as best they can and return whatever the item is. All right, the phone number is area code 904, so it's local, 630-3189. Again, 630-3189. That's the number for JTA's Lost and Found. And the office is open from 8 in the morning until 5 in the evening, Monday through Friday. If you've lost anything, please take advantage of that and call them.
All right, and we're going to be talking more about this.
You bet.
So still to come, our Making Moves reporters step in and sound off on our top stories. We'll be right back.
Someone who looked like me could achieve something so great, it motivated me.
The Underground Railroad, those things where people made a way for folks to get from city to city. That was like walking transportation.
They always had hymns and songs they sung to encourage themselves.
Time now for a Black History moment.
Reverend King as well as Rosa Parks are synonymous with transportation across this country because of the boycott. It's very interesting that how transportation is part of civil rights and the accessibility that we need to provide to citizens so that they have equal opportunity for prosperity.
For quite some time, there weren't any African Americans in transportation, and then when they did come on, very menial jobs. Today, we have an African American CEO, we have vice presidents that are African Americans, managers and other key players throughout the organization that are people that look just like you and I.
When I first came here, I was a bus operator, and I knew that's not what I wanted to do as my career here with the Transit Authority. So I moved up the ladder by taking on classes, getting opportunities to venture out in other departments. And it made me feel good because I went from sitting in the seat as an operator to sitting in the seat in an office managing operators.
Welcome back to Making Moves. Correspondents Carell Danzy and Terry Casey join me now to talk about their featured stories. Carell, as we saw in your story, you were in Brentwood, where I guess folks had some concerns. So what were their expectations when they first realized, you know, this isn't really going the way I want it to go?
I think when they went to the meeting, they just wanted to voice their frustrations. And they really thought they're not going to do anything. JTA is not going to listen to my concerns and make a change. Well, they were surprised because a change was made. It wasn't exactly what they had before, but I think both sides came to a compromise, and it was a great solution.
So you think that after JTA came in and they changed things up based on what the folks were saying, that their expectations now going forward might be a little more positive?
Definitely, it's a lot more positive. I spoke with the manager of the complex, and she said, you know, she was really surprised. And in talking with the residents, they've decided to change their appointments, make adjustments so that they can use the shuttle that comes right in front of their doors. And it's really been good since the shuttle has come back.
Fantastic. And I got to say, Terry, I was stunned at some of the things that people leave on those buses. I mean, that's just, really? What surprised you the most?
All right, well, you had prosthetic legs, you had dentures, cash, jewelry, diamonds. Those are huge things, but the thing that surprised me the most were kids being left by their, shall we say, owners on board a bus. Now, I don't know the story behind it, so all I can do is presume that they were safely returned.
Well, you hope they're safely returned.
Yeah.
You hope somebody came back for them. You know, that's the new thing. If you're not good, I'm leaving you on that bus.
Exactly. There's a whole other sequel now to Home Alone, the movie.
Exactly. But obviously for the things that people leave behind, there's got to be some sort of limit as to how long JTA will hold on to those. So how does all that work?
Well, it used to be a 30-day limit. Now that has been extended to 90 days. So there are 3 whole months that you're allowed to claim your stuff. If it goes unclaimed, then usually the JTA goes ahead and donates that to local charities. So that's always a good thing. But the thing is, you just would be absolutely amazed at how much stuff in Lost and Found never, ever gets claimed.
That is so interesting. So the good news for that is the charities are doing well.
Yeah, indeed, they are.
Well, there you go. Bright side to everything. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being with me on the Reporters Roundtable this morning. And speaking of charities, finally tonight, the JTA will run trolley service for 26.2 with Donna, the National Marathon to Finish Breast Cancer, on February 15th. Trolley service will run every 20 minutes from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on the regular trolley route. The fare will be the standard $1.50. One-day passes with unlimited rides are available at any Walgreens and Winn-Dixie store. 26.2 with Donna is the only marathon in the U.S. dedicated to breast cancer research and care. More than 12,000 runners from all 50 states and 20 countries will participate in that race, and I hope you'll be one of them or a spectator. That would be wonderful. This is our 8th annual Donna Marathon, so even if you're not running, you'll have an excellent opportunity to follow your favorite runner along the course because of those fantastic shuttles. So we hope we'll see you there. And that wraps up this edition of Making Moves. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We'd like to thank CEO Nat Ford for joining us in studio. And don't forget to check us out on social media. For Terry Casey and Carell Danzy and the entire Making Moves team, I'm Donna Deegan. We'll see you next time. We're Making Moves.